Friends, hello and welcome on techguruspeaks.com. Today I would like to discuss a very important data structure in Python, that is Python set. In Python, a set is basically a data structure that is unordered and unindexed. It doesn't allow duplicate elements in it, and they are written within the curly brackets. Each element or item in a set is unique and must be immutable. However, the set itself is mutable. That means it can be modified. We can easily add or remove items from it. Sets are unordered, so the elements of a set will appear in a random order. Sets can be used to perform several mathematical set operations like union, intersection, difference, symmetric difference, etc. In Python, there is a new type of set called the frozen set, and it has the characteristic of a set, but its element cannot be changed once assigned. Okay, so the elements cannot be modified once assigned. That means the frozen sets in Python are basically immutable sets. Now I will be moving to the demonstration part, and that will be done by using the Spider IDE, which is one of the most popular IDEs for Python programming. Let's move to the Spider IDE. So here comes our Spider IDE. So that will be used for demonstration of Python set, and I will be using the same convention that I did earlier for demonstration of Python list and Python tuple programming. Okay, so I think it will be easier for the audience to understand and follow. So first I will be trying to create a set by using a pair of curly braces. Say I am writing here 5 elements. So I have got 5 elements. So since it is successful, I can print it also. So it is showing that all the elements are created, like the set is retaining all the 5 elements, but their order is basically are followed in random order, like it is basically following a random order. Clear? The order which was provided during creation of the set is not being followed in it. It can follow any random order after creation. So now I am going to create another set by using the set constructor, okay, with double round brackets. So it is another way to create set. So now I will be using double round bracket, and I have got the set constructor using double round bracket. Say for example, I have got here 4 elements. Now I would like to print it. So it has been created. Again you can see it, the elements in the set are basically appearing in some random order. Okay, so that is the unique feature of set. They are unindexed and unordered. Like we can perform some kind of indexing operation in list and tuple, but we cannot perform that kind of indexing operation in set because sets are unordered and unindexed. So that we have already seen. Now suppose I would like to check whether a particular element is present in a particular set or not. That I can check here. Say if, say for example, the item name is here, say for example 30. Now I would like to check whether this is present in the set A or not. If item in A so I would try to maintain the proper indentation here. It should be item, not a, it should be item. So, or you can write here true also. That means it is present. So it is showing true. That means the item 30 is present in the set A. So in that way, we can use the in operator for checking whether it is present in the set or not. It is basically a kind of membership operator that we demonstrated using the Python operators. Okay. Now I would like to access all the elements by using the for in loop. So I will be writing here simple print function to print all the elements in it. So all the elements are get printed. So in that way we can access the elements of a set, but we cannot apply the concept of indexing here as they are unindexed data structure. The sets in Python are basically unindexed data structure. Okay, but if I am going to consider whether a item that is not being present in the set, how can you check it? Say item equal to 70. Now it is not present in set A, so that can also be checked here. So it is showing false. That means if a particular item is not present in the array, okay, so it is basically the array. So it is the element 70 is not present in this array, so that means it is showing the result as false. So in that way we can check the presence of an element in a set by using the in operator, which is considered to be one of the membership operator. Now if I am going to change elements in a set, that is not permitted in Python, because every element is set is immutable. That means you won't be able to change the element of a set. However, you can add new items or you can remove the existing items. Okay, so that is the feature. Now I am going to print the length of a set. Say for example, I would like to know what is the length of the set A. So that can be done by using the length function, and we have used that function earlier with respect to list and tuple. Okay, so it is quite similar. Now we are going to add elements to a set. Basically we can use the add method to add a single element to a set. Okay, so now I am going to add, say for example, a new element to set A. For example, suppose I am now writing here A dot, A is the name of the set. Now I am going to add here, say for example 60. A new element has been added here. Okay, so now it is successful. Now I would like to check whether we are getting the updated set or not. So it is updated, though the elements might be placed in some random order, but all the elements are there. Okay, so the new element 60 is being added to it. So by using the add function we can add a single element to a set, but if you would like to add multiple elements to a given set, you can do it by using the update method. Now we are going to apply the update method on it, but remember that we cannot write here, suppose we are going to add here 70 and 80, so you cannot write here like 70 comma 80, then comes the first bracket. Okay, if you are going to write that kind of statement here, it is going to show you error. Okay, so it is not allowed in Python. So that kind of operation we are already performed with respect to Python list. You just think of using the extend function. So better to use the square bracket to include the multiple elements in it. So this is the way to add multiple elements to a set. So remember that if you are going to add some, like add more than one element to a particular set, so better to include them using the square bracket, and they will be separated by comma. So now I am going to apply it. So it's okay, that means it is done. So you can see here the value 70 and 80, they are added to the set known by the name capital A. So now it is being updated. Set A is getting updated here. So that is the idea of add and update method. Add is for adding a single element and update is for adding multiple element. That means more than one element. Now we are going to remove elements, I mean to say existing elements from a set. You can remove or discard elements from a given set by using the remove method or the discard method. Okay, the difference between them is that if the element to remove doesn't exist, remove will raise an error, whereas the item to remove, it doesn't exist in the set, the discard method will not raise any error. Say for example, in the given list there is no element such as 90, but if we are going to apply the discard method here, it is not showing any error. Clear? Though the element 90 is not present in the set denoted by capital A. Okay, but we are using the same kind of concept with respect to the method remove. Like remove and discard, both of the methods are basically used for, say, removing existing elements from a set. But here, if the particular element is not being present, that is actually passed in as an argument to the function, so for discard it will not show anything, but for remove it will raise an error. So that has been raised, like because the element 90 is not there, so it is not possible for you to remove it. Now suppose I would like to remove say a particular element, say for example 30 here. So it is done. Now I would like to remove another element, say for example 20 here. So it is done. So now the element 30 and 20, they are getting deleted. So there is no 30 and 20 in the set A. So there is another method named pop, that is basically removing the last element from a set. Okay, so if I am to write here, say for example, and I would like to show it also to you, say a dot pop. So pop is the function to be applied. Okay, so it will be showing the last element to be removed from the set. Okay, so I am applying it. If I am printing k here, so it is showing that is 70. Okay, now if I am going to print it, I mean to say print the set, it is showing 40, 10, 80, 50 and 60. So that means what? The pop method removes the last element from the set. So that is the idea. Okay, so in that way the concept is to be basically applied here. Now you can also use the del keyword to delete a set completely. Suppose if you are writing here, say del A, capital A, and press enter, it will be completely be eliminated, and if you are going to use this statement, it will be showing error because name A is not defined, it doesn't exist. So that is why we are having the name error. There is another method called, say, B. Just recall about the set that we have created earlier. Say B, by using the clear method, we can make the set empty. Say, for example, if I am writing here B dot clear and try to print it, so it will be showing an empty set. So that is the idea. Now we are going to apply the different set theoretic operations like union, intersection, set difference, etc. Suppose you are having two sets, say A and B. Suppose A is having 5 elements in it, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So we are having 5 elements, and B is another set which is having only 4 elements in it, say for example 30, 50, 60 and 70. Okay, so now we are having some elements in set B, so it is also created. Now we are going to, say, apply the union operation on these two sets. Remember that you can either perform the union operation by using the union method or using a particular operator like this, say print A. So basically it is used for performing union operation. So if I am, say, executing this statement, it will be showing the union of set A and set B. Again it will be placed in random order. So the same operation can also be done by using the union function. So instead of using this symbol, the pipe symbol, I can use the union function. So again it is showing the same result. Okay, so basically they are doing the same thing but using two different methods. Like I can use the pipe symbol for doing union, and the same operation can be done, that means the union operation can be done by using the union function. Okay, now I am going to apply set intersection. Now the set intersection operation can be done by using the intersection function or by using the AND, that is at the rate, sorry, not at the rate, that is address of, that is called AND. So by using AND operator we can also perform the set intersection. Just have a look at it. So what are the common elements in them? So it is basically 30 and 50. 30 and 50 are the common elements of A and B. So it gets printed here. So we can also follow the alternative technique, like instead of writing AND operator we can also write here intersection. So it is also giving you the same result. So now I can go for set difference. Okay, so set difference, for example, I would like to find the difference of A and B. Okay, so that means A minus B denotes the elements that are only in A but not in B. Okay, so that is the idea. So basically that can be shown by using the minus operation, that is the notion of set difference here. So here 30 and 50, these elements are present in both of them, like I mean to say A and B both. So here if I am writing an A minus B, the elements which are in B basically will be getting removed from set A. So the remaining elements will be shown here, because apart from 30 and 50, okay, the remaining 3 elements like 10, 20 and 40 are basically uncommon elements. So in that way it can be shown. Similarly we can perform the operation like this, like B minus A, that is also applicable. Okay, so here the common elements are getting deleted from set B, like 30 and 50. The uncommon element like 60 and 70 will be remaining, and that will be shown. And the same thing we can also perform by using the difference method. Like so so either you can do it by using symbol like the minus symbol, or by using the difference method. So in that way they can be done. There is another method to be applied for set, that is called set symmetric difference. Symmetric difference of sets A and B is a set of elements in both A and B except those that are common in both. Okay, so basically this kind of operation is basically done by using the caret symbol. Say for example, I am taking here the same sets here, like set A and B. So I will be writing here print A, B, and between them we can have the caret symbol that will be used for symmetric difference. Okay, so that is the idea. The same operation can also be performed by using the function named symmetric difference. So it's a big name, like it is very difficult to remember. Symmetric underscore difference, that is the name of the function. It will be showing the same result here. Just try to remember it. Now suppose we are going to perform set comparison. That means whether a given set is a subset or superset of another set. That can be checked here. Okay, say for example, I am having another set. First I would like to print set A here because I am going to use it. So it is already been created. Now I am going to create another set, say named set S, and it is having only say 3 elements, say 20, 30 and 50. Okay, so it is created. So if I am writing here print S, it will be get printed on the console. So now I am going to perform these operations on set A and S. So for example, say for example I am writing here sub, that is, or I can apply them directly also. So first I am writing here capital S less than equal to capital A. That means what? Checking whether set S is a subset of set capital A. So it is true. Okay, because S is basically a subset of capital A. Alternatively, we can also check it like whether set A is a superset of set S. We can also check it alternatively. The symbol is basically just changed. It is basically using greater than equal to. It is also true because A is the superset and S is the subset. So that is the idea to be employed here. So by using set comparison, we can check whether a given set is a subset or superset of another set or not. So if it is, that is, if it is correct, it will be showing true, otherwise it will be showing false. Now we are going to create frozen set. Basically frozen sets in Python are basically immutable set, and we can also perform all kinds of operations on say frozen sets that is permitted in normal sets in Python. The advantage of frozen set is that they are hashable and can be used as keys to a dictionary. Okay, like the tuple. So basically that is the advantage of frozen set. So they are hashable and they can be used as keys to a dictionary. Like you can compare the tuples as immutable list, and the elements in the tuple can be considered as the keys of the dictionary. Similarly, the elements present in the frozen set, since they are immutable sets, can be used as keys to a dictionary. So in that way, tuple, which is considered to be a immutable list, and frozen sets can be compared. So they can be considered as the keys to a dictionary. Now I am going to create frozen sets. Suppose I would like to create two frozen sets here. Say for example C and D. So first I am using here the constructor frozen set. Okay, so now I will be having the bracket, that is for denoting frozen set. So suppose I am having 5 elements, 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 here, clear? So by using the frozen set constructor I have created it. Okay, so I can also show it to you by using the print function. Say C is the name of the set being created, so it is showing the set just created. Okay, now if I am going to apply say addition operation on it, say I would like to add a new element here, say for example 70. Now I would like to check whether it is possible or not. It is not possible because frozen sets are immutable sets. Once created they cannot be modified. So that is the unique feature of frozen set. Okay, so in that way they can be compared with the idea of tuples, and they can be used as the keys to a dictionary. Now I am going to create another say frozen set, say name D, and it will be having say for example 4 elements, say 30, 50, 60 and 70. Then I am going to change its name. So it is having the set D, that is the new frozen set to be created. It is having only 4 elements. They are basically 30, 50, 60 and 70. So now I have created it. So if I am trying to add any new element to it, say 90, it cannot be applied on it. Okay, so that is the feature, unique feature. So now I am going to print set D, clear? So now we have got set C and set D. Now we are going to apply the operations like union, intersection, difference and symmetric difference on them. Basically I am going to apply them one by one. So that is the idea. So basically I am going to apply here union, intersection, set difference and symmetric difference. Okay, so let's print C once again and print D. So it will be easier for you to understand what are the values, because now we could be able to understand what is going on. So now I will be performing here union, intersection, say here I will be writing D and here I will be writing C. Okay, so C union D. Okay, so in that way we can apply it. Similarly we can apply intersection on it, but remember that these operations are not making any changes to the existing set frozen set C and D. So that is shown over here, intersection. Now we can have the difference, like the set difference. So it is shown, and finally I am going to apply here symmetric difference. I can also check it whether whether removing an element from the Trojan set is allowed or not. That we also check here. Say d dot remove, say for example, what are the elements in D? 70, 50, 60, 30. I would like to remove 30 from here. Okay, so I would like to check whether that operation is basically permitted in this particular Trojan set or not. It is not permitted because addition and remove operation, addition and removal operations are not allowed in remove, like, or add for a particular Trojan set. Okay, so Trojan set is basically considered to be an example of immutable set, and we cannot apply addition or removal operation on it. So I hope that you have understood the basic logic of set. It is basically unordered and unindexed. After creating a set, the elements can be shown in random order. Since there is no indexing, we won't be able to use indexes or indices for accessing the elements. You can check the membership of a particular element by using the if statement, or you can access the elements by using the for in loop. So that is the basic idea to be employed here. We can also perform addition and removal operation on a given set, given normal set. Okay, like for adding single element we can have add, for multiple elements addition we can have update, for removal of element we can have remove, discard, pop, that is removing the last element, or you can also use the del keyword to remove a set completely. That is the idea. Okay, and you can also have the different set theoric operations like union, intersection, difference, symmetric difference. Finally we have got the Trojan set, which is a kind of, say, immutable set in Python. So it is an interesting feature, and it can be compared with the idea of tuples because they are not getting modified. They can be used as the keys to a dictionary, and we can also perform all the set theoric operations that is applicable to normal set, that is also applicable to a Trojan set. So that's all for today. So I hope that you have thoroughly watched this video, and I will be requesting you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have liked my video. It is the URL of my YouTube channel. So it is my website. You can visit my website for lots of useful information. I think you will like it. And this is my official email ID. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.